What's up, YouTube? So like the title says, I'm going to install the LED turn signals on the Yamaha R3. Right now I have the stock lights, which are, I mean, they're not ugly. It's actually a pretty good look the Yamaha went with. Like, it's not horrible. Got my little assistant right there, ready to help me out. So you can see turn signals work really well. Nothing wrong with them. But since I did just order today my Yosimura Fender Eliminator kit, because I'm going to chop off this ugly thing here. Basically, I am going to replace these lights. I'm not going to use them on the kit, and I'm just going to do LEDs on them. So I was like, I might as well just do this all now, and then when I get the kit, just keep reusing that. So I went with these. They're going to be small, short arrow LEDs. I ended up getting also Yamaha leads. That way I can quick plug and play installation. Makes it a lot easier than splicing and crimping wires together. And then of course, since they are LEDs, to fix the flashing, I'm going to go with the relay in order to control that. So with this one, since it's not a naked bike like the other one, it's going to be a little harder to get underneath the fairing. So I have to remove all the fairings and get to the light indicators back here, which shouldn't be too hard. It's basically going to be for the front one. I don't have to remove the entire fairing. I basically just have to remove, I don't know if you can see this under here, this plastic inner panel, which is being held with 1, 2, 3 screws right here, and then this inside plastic part is going to separate from the fairing itself, and that gives me access to the light itself. I won't need to remove the fairing for at least the front indicators. So I'm going to remove that. I don't think you want to watch me unscrew these, but it's just 3 screws right here, and I'll do that on both sides here. So once I got all 3 screws out, and put them under the wheel so I don't lose them. Once you get all 3 of those out, you'll see that the whole plastic thing doesn't really have to come off, otherwise I have to unscrew everything. But it's basically just enough to reach into here and grab my light harness, which is, I don't know if you can see it back there. Let's see if I can get in there. It's hard because I'm doing this with the Senna 10C, so I have my helmet on. I'll probably look really funny if someone's looking at me working on the bike with my helmet on. But basically, it's just going to be disconnecting that right there with, damn it. Let me unplug that first, and then I'll get back to you guys, and then I'll show you how just to remove the light, which is basically with this washer that's here. You just squeeze it together, take out the washer. Oh yeah. See, this washer here, and that was just holding that together. You basically push the whole unit out now. It's just being held with rubber, so basically the whole thing comes out. I just gotta disconnect it from the plug itself, which you won't be able to see on cameras. And after that, I'm just gonna get the quick disconnect leads and plug it back in. So issue arose, so I disconnected it, from the lead. Then I noticed, oh, see, look, take out the washer. This is the OEM turn signal. The Yamaha leads that I picked up, of course, are different. Maybe it wasn't meant for the R3. I can barely find anything for the R3. No levers and things like that. Few Fender Eliminator kits. So it looks like I won't be able to use these. And I threw away all the boxes and stuff, so whatever. Can't return that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then, hopefully I never have to reuse these. I'm just going to have to splice, which I didn't want to do. Splice these together onto here. I have to figure out which one's which. I'm assuming black is always ground, and this yellow one should probably go to one of those two. But gonna have to do that first before I continue with this. Okay, so what I decided to do was, I'm going to still end up using the quick disconnects, but obviously this plug does not fit. So what I did was just take it off the original OEM one at the very end, and I'm going to figure out, which I did, I'll figure out which one's the one that powers on the light. And it looks like this, the black one of course is ground, and then both of these are for power. You only need one of those, so what I'm going to do is just cut off the tip there and crimp these together. I have a couple of methods I could use. This is one that joins, what is it called? Push-in wire connectors. But I think I'm going to end up using these. It's basically one's a male and one's a female end. Put both ends together and plug them in. That way, if I ever have a problem with any of the lights, I could just unplug it, get a new set, and it'll be good to go. And I'll just keep that stock. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all 4 lights, and then get back to you guys. This is what I ended up doing. Splicing the connection off the other one. So basically now I have a brand new quick disconnect, so which I'm going to use to plug in here. So make sure you keep the washer off the original light. That's the washer that prevented this from sliding out. So I realized that this bolt is really too tiny. It would just fall in through here, so they needed a way to hold it in. So this washer is actually, it doesn't look as nice, but it's going to go on the outside like that in order for the washer itself to hold it in place. Can't really notice, but that's the way you're going to have to do it. So let me just basically plug everything in. Make sure that the washer's on this side. And then, where's my connection? This goes to power, ground, so once you have everything plugged in, it's just going to be plugging in this end to the original light, and then of course testing it would be last. Actually, I didn't even think that through. No, the washer does need to be on the other end. Obviously. My bad. Let me just switch that around real quick and then plug it all together, and I'll show you what it's finished. That was stupid. So it turns out that doesn't matter which side I have that washer on, it's still the bolt just gonna make it go through. So looks like I need like a really big washer to plug that hole. I think this goes straight. Yeah, I think this one can go straight. So I'm just gonna head over to the Lowe's right here, pick up some really big washers, and that should solve the problem. Good thing I have the Gladius right now. That's the advantage of having 2 bikes now, which is why I hadn't done too many like internal or electrical work on the Gladius, because just in case I don't finish like the next day, I can't just leave it. I need another bike. So now that I have the R3, that's really useful. So like I mentioned, it was it doesn't matter which side this washer would be, I still need a second washer in order to hold it in. So didn't know if this would look good like that, so I'm gonna leave that washer on the outside, and hopefully this is big enough. Yep, perfect to do on that side. So now just putting that together, which is basically this, and now this nut, the washer, plugging it into the leads, and plugging it in. That's basically it. So I'm gonna do that, and now I'll test it. So moment of truth. Have everything plugged in. This is basically what it's gonna look like in the end. So I'll show you. See the size difference between stock and LED ones. I only did one side so far. All that time for just one. I thought it'd be faster. The only thing is, see my, I know that they're sort of on with the stock ones, and here they're off until until I use them. That's the right. Now left. I could leave it like that. I haven't installed the flasher relay, but it works. So that's basically the process for just the one light there. It's the same thing on the other side. The 3 screws just to reach in there, unscrew it, and put this back in there. That's about it. It should be the exact same thing for the back in terms of at least the connections. The only thing to reach into these connectors, I believe I'm going to have to just remove the bottom fender. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and install that, because the crimping and the wiring is all going to be the same. Same thing with the quick connect leads. To actually take apart the fender if you want more detail, that part is going to be coming really soon, as soon as I get my Fender Eliminator kit, because then I'm going to show you how to remove the entire thing. But right now it's going to be partly removed just to reach into there. Alright, if you guys have any questions on that, just feel free to post or give me any suggestions.